There is a reason you are here right now. Out of all the moments in your life, out of all the countless distractions and infinite possibilities, you found this exact message in this exact moment. This is not coincidence. This is not chance. This is guidance. A gentle pull from something greater, a whisper that you may not have heard with your ears, but you felt in your heart. That feeling is proof that you are being aligned. You have always sensed it, have you not? That quiet nudge beneath the noise of your daily life. The sense that something has been trying to reach you, something beyond what words can fully hold. It is that invisible thread that brought you here. It is not random, it is resonance. It is your own energy answering itself, calling itself back into awareness. When you pause and allow yourself to really feel this moment, you notice how everything sharpens. The weight of the day becomes lighter. The noise around you fades. What remains is the truth. You were guided. The same way a compass always points north, your soul has been pointing you here, leading you toward the reminder you were meant to hear. You may wonder how it happened. Perhaps you stumbled across this by accident, or so you thought. But in reality, nothing in your awakening is accidental. Every path, every delay, every sign that seemed small has been part of the orchestration. You were drawn here because you are ready. Ready to be reminded of what you already are, ready to step beyond the illusions that have been holding you. There is something sacred in knowing that this is not a message that could have reached you yesterday, and it is not one that could have waited until tomorrow. It had to be now. Because now you are in the state to receive it. Now you are open enough to hear it. Now your frequency has shifted into alignment with this truth. And this is the moment where it all begins to unfold. Not because something outside of you is finally ready to give you permission, but because within you, the readiness has ripened. You have been searching without knowing what you were searching for. You have been waiting without realizing that what you were waiting for was yourself. This is your arrival point. This is your recognition. Do you feel how uncanny it is? How the words seem to match the state you have been in, as if they were written into your timeline long before you pressed play. That is because this is not just a message, this is a mirror. It reflects what you already carry within you. The resonance you feel right now is the resonance of self-recognition. You are hearing yourself, spoken back through the universe. Allow this realization to settle into your body. Breathe it in. Breathe as if the air itself is whispering. You are meant to be here. Let every inhale anchor you in this truth, and every exhale release the doubts that told you otherwise. The more you breathe into it, the clearer it becomes. Destiny is not in the future. Destiny is unfolding right now, through this very moment. You are not late. You are not behind. You are exactly where you are meant to be. This is the alignment that was waiting for you to notice it. This is the frequency shift that has been gathering energy around you. And now that you are here, nothing can unmake this recognition. And as you breathe into this knowing, the path ahead begins to unfold. Breathe this in. Can you feel the timing? You have felt it for some time now, that subtle but constant unease that follows you like a shadow. Nights when your body was tired but your mind would not rest. Days when you walked through the familiar motions of life but felt strangely out of place, as if the world was slightly tilted and you could not quite find your footing. There has been a stirring inside you, one that words could never fully capture, a restlessness you could not name. You may have tried to silence it with distractions, scrolling, working, planning, hoping that busyness would drown the sensation, but it always returned. In quiet moments, in pauses between responsibilities, in the space before sleep, it spoke to you, not with language, but with feeling. A sense that something more is waiting, something unseen but undeniable. That quiet urgency has been your soul's signal. At times, it may have felt like confusion. You questioned yourself. Why do I not feel satisfied? Why does everything feel both familiar and foreign? Why do I sense a change that I cannot describe? But what you called confusion was never chaos. It was the gentle unraveling of an old pattern. The very discomfort that you tried to resist was the sign that you were waking up. Think of it like the moment just before dawn. The sky is heavy with darkness, yet you can feel the light approaching. Your body knows before your eyes can see. That is the space you have been living in. The threshold between who you were and who you are becoming. The unease has been your signal of transition. It was not an enemy to be fought, but an invitation to pay attention. Science describes it in terms of resonance. When a frequency no longer matches, the system becomes unstable until it shifts into harmony again. That is what your life has been mirroring. The environments, relationships, and roles that once felt comfortable began to feel misaligned because your frequency was changing. What once held you no longer could. And that tension, that restless ache, was not failure. It was transformation in progress. Can you remember those nights you felt like you were carrying a weight you could not see? The heaviness in your chest, the racing thoughts, the sense that you were both here and somewhere else. Those moments were not random. They were signals that your awareness was expanding beyond the narrow boundaries you had been taught to live in. They were cracks in the old shell, making space for a larger self to emerge. There is nothing wrong with you for feeling restless. You are not broken, and you have not lost your way. The truth is the opposite. You are closer to yourself now than ever before. The restlessness is your awakening, knocking gently, then firmly, until you could no longer ignore it. It is proof that you are alive in a deeper way. It is proof that your inner compass is guiding you toward alignment. And yes, it has been uncomfortable. Growth always is. To stretch into a larger version of yourself requires shedding layers that once felt safe. That shedding feels like dissonance, like losing ground. But in reality, you are gaining clarity. You are stepping out of the noise and into the signal. Every moment of unease has been clearing space for what is real. Take a breath and let yourself honor that journey. You survived every sleepless night. You endured every moment of not knowing. You carried yourself through the fog, and still something inside you whispered, "Keep going." That strength, that resilience, is not accidental. It is part of who you are. And now, standing here in this exact moment, you can finally see the restlessness for what it always was, a sign of awakening. But what you called confusion is really preparation. Say this softly: I am being prepared. There comes a moment in your awakening when you realize that the chaos around you has never truly been who you are. All the voices that told you who you should be, all the pressures that demanded you conform, all the distractions that kept you spinning, they are the noise. They are the static of a world that has forgotten how to listen. And yet within that static you remain, steady, clear, true. You are not the noise, you are the signal. The universe does not respond to noise. It does not respond to scattered doubt or fear-based static. The universe responds to coherence, and coherence is born when you remember who you are. When your inner state aligns with the truth of your being, you begin to broadcast a frequency so strong, so undeniable, that reality itself has no choice but to rearrange around you. Science calls this the observer effect. The moment an observer directs attention, the field shifts, reality bends, possibilities collapse into form. But the observer is not passive. It is not simply looking, it is shaping. And you, in this very moment, are the observer of your reality. You are not a bystander in the field of possibility. You are the directive force, the tuning fork that calls matter into alignment. Think of it like a radio dial. The static is endless until you tune into the right frequency. Suddenly, clarity emerges. The song was always there, but until you became precise in your tuning, it was buried beneath interference. That is what your awakening is. The act of tuning yourself again and again until all that remains is the pure transmission of your truth. And when you do, everything responds. The people you meet, the opportunities that arrive, the timing of events that could never be orchestrated by logic alone, they begin to converge around your frequency. Why? Because reality does not organize around chaos. Reality organizes around signal, and your life right now is calling you to see that you are that signal. You are the broadcast that reality cannot ignore. You may have thought at times that you were lost in the noise, that your voice was too small, your desires too fragile, your essence too hidden to be heard, but that was never true. The field is not measuring your volume, it is measuring your coherence. One whisper of truth carries more power than 1,000 shouts of fear. One moment of pure alignment moves more reality than years of scattered effort. Breathe this, in your energy is not asking permission. Your frequency is not waiting for approval. It is already speaking to the field. Every thought you choose, every feeling you allow, every belief you embody is a transmission. You are transmitting constantly, and the field is listening. The only question is whether you are broadcasting noise, or whether you are broadcasting the signal of your true self. Close your eyes for a moment, and feel into this beneath the doubts, beneath the chatter, beneath the restlessness you once carried. There is a vibration that is steady and unmoving. That vibration is who you truly are. It does not waver with circumstance. It does not collapse under pressure. It is the pure essence of your being, resonating across time, calling reality into form. That is the signal. That is you. When you anchor into this truth, you no longer chase outcomes. You no longer beg the universe to notice you. You no longer scatter your energy in fear of being unseen. You understand instead that the universe cannot ignore what is coherent. The field cannot turn away from alignment. And once you become alignment, reality has no choice but to bend toward you. This is why you have been guided here, to remember that you are not powerless noise. You are not lost static. You are not the background hum of doubt. You are the pulse. You are the tone. You are the signal that creates form. And the moment you believe this fully, you will see how swiftly life rearranges itself to mirror your broadcast. Do you feel it now? That subtle shift inside of you, like a clarity emerging from the fog. That is you tuning yourself. That is you remembering. That is you stepping back into the power of being the signal. And once you know this, you cannot return to forgetting. You cannot unhear the song of your own soul. You can only choose to amplify it. And when the field hears you, it cannot refuse you. Whisper it to yourself. I am the signal. There is a moment when you realize that life is not a single path carved in stone. Life is a spectrum, an infinite unfolding of parallel possibilities, each waiting for you to step into them. Right now you are standing before those possibilities, and though you may not see them with your eyes, your soul feels them. They are like doors of light, each shimmering with a different outcome, each carrying the echo of a life you could live. You have felt it before, that sensation of choice that was bigger than the moment in front of you. A sense that one decision, one thought, one shift in energy would ripple outward and alter everything. That is not imagination. That is quantum reality. Every choice you make is not simply a reaction to life, but an act of creation. Each choice splits timelines, opening one path while closing another, and here in this exact moment, those timelines stretch out before you. Some are familiar. They carry the weight of your past, echoing old fears, old doubts, old patterns. They are the timelines of repetition, the loops that replay until you decide you are ready to break free. Others shine with possibility. They feel expansive, alive, full of potential that scares you and excites you at the same time. They are the timelines of awakening, waiting for you to claim them. Science describes this through the multiverse interpretation. Every potential outcome exists simultaneously, suspended in probability, until attention selects and collapses it into form. Spirit describes it as destiny unfolding in layers, each waiting for the frequency that will activate it. Both speak the same truth. You are the chooser. You are not wandering blindly through fate. You are the one collapsing possibility into reality. Close your eyes and imagine these timelines as luminous corridors stretching out in all directions. Some are dim, cluttered with shadows, heavy with the weight of limitation. Others glow with golden light, filled with synchronicity, expansion, and peace. Feel yourself standing at the threshold. Notice how your body reacts when you imagine stepping into the shadowed halls, how it tightens and contracts. Now notice how your body responds when you imagine stepping into the luminous doors, a release, a sense of space, a recognition that this is who you were always meant to be. This is not metaphor. This is the reality of frequency. You do not step into a new timeline by waiting for the world to change. You step into it by embodying the vibration that already exists there. Each thought, each emotion, each declaration of self shifts you into resonance with the door you choose. And as you shift, the world rearranges itself to reflect that choice. Perhaps you have already glimpsed it. A decision that felt small but led to a completely new reality. A choice to let go, a choice to trust, a choice to follow an inner pull, and suddenly doors opened that logic could never have predicted. That is the power of alignment. That is the truth of timelines. You are not at the mercy of them. They are waiting for you to select. Right now, in this moment, you are being asked to choose, not from fear, not from habit, but from the truth of who you are becoming. The restlessness you felt was preparing you for this choice. The signal you remembered within yourself is now the guiding tone that will align you with the door meant for you. All the timelines are open, but only one resonates with the destiny you came here to live. Do not be afraid of the others. They are simply reflections of what you have already known. They are teachers, reminders, mirrors of who you once believed yourself to be, but you are not bound to them. The moment you decide, the moment you embody the frequency of your chosen path, the others fade into memory and your energy locks into the reality that matches you. This is your moment. This is your crossing. This is the reason you were guided here. To stand before the doors of your own becoming and remember that you are the one who chooses. The universe does not impose your destiny. It presents you with possibilities and waits for your resonance to declare itself. And when you do, the chosen timeline opens and you step through. And the choice you make here is your final test. Imagine stepping forward. Which door do you feel calling? There is always a test before the threshold, though it is not the kind of test you were taught to fear. It is not punishment, and it is not judgment. It is alignment. It is the final measure of whether you will carry the weight of your old self into your new reality, or whether you will step forward free, clear, and coherent. You may already feel it happening. Old patterns you thought you had released are resurfacing. Doubts you believed you had silenced suddenly rise again. Fears you thought you had outgrown reappear with sharp edges. It can feel discouraging, as if you are moving backward, but you are not. You are being shown what still lingers in your energy so that you can finally dissolve it. The universe does not bring these shadows to punish you. It brings them to free you. Think of it like a river carrying sediment. As the water clears, the last fragments rise to the surface before being carried away. That is what is happening within you now. The fears that are resurfacing are not proof of failure. They are proof that you are ready for purification. They are the fragments that cannot travel with you into the higher frequency you are choosing. The final test is not about proving your worth. You have always been worthy. The test is simply this: will you choose fear or will you choose resonance? Will you allow the old doubts to define you one more time, or will you breathe into your true frequency and let the fear dissolve into nothing? Every awakening carries this moment. It is the point where the universe holds up a mirror, showing you the patterns that once kept you small. It whispers, "Are you ready to release these?" The answer is not measured in words, but in vibration. When you choose love, when you choose truth, when you choose coherence over contraction, you send a signal that cannot be mistaken. You declare, not just with your voice but with your being, "I am aligned." Do not mistake the intensity of this moment as danger. Intensity is the sign that you are on the edge of transformation. The energy feels strong because the shift is strong. And though it may feel like pressure, it is only the threshold asking you to stand firm in what you have already become. Notice what arises within you when you are tested. Do you feel the old voice of fear? the one that says you are not ready, not enough, not capable. That voice has been with you for a long time, and it may sound convincing, but here is the truth. That voice is not you. It is an echo, a leftover imprint of old conditioning. It has no power unless you choose to believe it. Now notice the other voice, quieter but steady, the one that whispers, "You are ready," the one that reminds you of the times you have risen before, the one that feels like expansion, even in the face of fear. That is the voice of resonance. That is the frequency that has carried you here. And that is the choice the universe is asking you to make in this final test. When you choose resonance, something shifts instantly. The fear does not disappear because it was conquered. It disappears because it is no longer relevant. Fear cannot exist in the same space as truth. Fear is static, but you are the signal. And when the signal becomes strong enough, the static fades. Take a breath and imagine yourself at the center of this test. The doubts rise. The fears speak, the pressure builds. Now see yourself standing tall, rooted in your being, allowing the noise to swirl but refusing to merge with it. With every inhale, you draw strength from the infinite field. With every exhale, you release the old patterns into nothingness. And in that stillness, something inside you declares, "I am resonance." This is the crossing. This is the proof of your alignment. Not because you fought your fear, but because you no longer needed to. You remembered who you are. You remembered what you carry. You remembered that the universe is not testing you to measure your value, but to show you the truth of your strength. The final test has only one question: will you stand in your frequency when the noise returns? When you answer yes, with your heart, your breath, your presence, the doors open, and you step into the timeline that has been waiting for you. And when fear fades, stillness rises. Place your hand on your chest and feel, "I choose resonance." There is a secret woven into the very fabric of existence, a truth that you may have sensed but perhaps never fully trusted. The universe listens to you, not in the way you were taught as a child, not as some distant force deciding whether to grant or deny your wishes, but as a living field of energy that responds to the coherence of your being. Every thought you hold, every feeling you allow, every belief you embody, they are signals broadcast into the quantum field. And this field is not passive. It is alive, sensitive, and receptive. Just as a lake ripples when a single stone touches its surface, reality ripples in response to your vibration. What you feel within is not isolated. It is echoed, magnified, and reflected back to you through experience. Science names this the observer effect. When attention is given, particles shift, probability collapses into reality. Spirit calls it alignment, the dance between your inner state and the outer world. In truth, they are one and the same. The moment you focus with clarity, the universe listens. The moment you breathe with intention, the field responds. You may not have realized it, but the universe has been listening to you all along. It has heard the fear, the doubt, the longing, and it has also heard the hope, the gratitude, and the love. Every whisper of your being has been received. The question has never been whether the universe is listening. The question has always been, what are you transmitting? When you are fragmented, when your energy is scattered between fear and desire, the signal becomes unclear. It is like trying to speak two languages at once. The message is distorted, and the universe reflects that distortion back to you. But when you are coherent, when your thoughts, emotions, and intentions move as one, your signal becomes undeniable. Reality bends to that clarity. This is why moments of deep presence feel so powerful. When you are fully here, breathing, centered, aligned, the static falls away. The universe hears only the purity of your frequency, and it responds. Not later, not someday, but instantly, because time itself bends around coherence. Synchronicities appear, paths unfold, doors open that logic could not explain. You are not begging for these things, you are summoning them by the nature of your being. Do you see the beauty in this? You are not powerless. You have never been powerless. Every moment you believed your voice was too small, your desires too fragile, or your prayers unheard, the truth was the opposite. The field was listening. It was simply waiting for your coherence. It was waiting for you to remember that the most powerful transmission is not in words, but in state. Feel into this right now. Place your attention on your heart, and imagine your breath as light expanding outward. With each inhale, your frequency grows stronger, clearer. With each exhale, the universe leans closer. Listening intently, you do not need to shout. You do not need to force. The field does not respond to volume. It responds to resonance. And resonance is born when you embody the truth of who you are. Think of the times in your life when you were fully certain. Perhaps it was a moment of love, or a decision you knew in your bones. Do you remember how effortlessly everything aligned after that? The universe was not rewarding you. It was responding to you. That is the law of coherence. That is the intimacy of this relationship between you and existence itself. Now imagine living your life as that coherence. Imagine every step, every breath, every thought being a signal so clear that reality has no choice but to reflect it back in perfect harmony. That is what you are being called into now, not as an occasional practice, but as your identity. The universe is listening right now. It is not far, and it is not separate. It is woven through every cell of your being, waiting to amplify the frequency you choose to hold. And when you remember this, you stop asking whether your life has meaning. You begin to see that your life is meaning. You stop questioning if the universe hears you. You begin to realize that you and the universe have always been in dialogue. And this coherence becomes your identity. Can you feel reality leaning closer to hear you? There comes a realization in the journey of awakening that changes everything. It is the moment you stop seeing yourself as separate from the universe, and instead recognize that you are woven into its very essence. You are not outside of the field, trying to bend it with effort or convince it to notice you. You are the field. You are the vibration that gives birth to form. You are the coherence that the universe cannot ignore, the resonance it cannot refuse. For so long, you may have lived as if you were on the outside looking in. You were taught to ask, to beg, to wait for something greater to hear your prayers. But the truth has always been different. The power was never outside of you. You are not sending signals into an indifferent void. You are the signal, and you are also the space in which the signal vibrates. The universe is not something you must reach. It is something you are. When you truly understand this, a deep calm enters you. The striving softens. The endless reaching dissolves, because you realize that everything you desire is already part of you, encoded within your frequency. To become is not to acquire something foreign. To become is to allow what you already carry to fully express itself. The field cannot resist this expression, because the field is simply mirroring you. Imagine the ocean. Each wave rises and falls, but it is not separate from the sea. In the same way, every thought, every desire, every vision you hold rises within you as a wave of the universal field. You are not asking the ocean for permission to exist as a wave. You already are the ocean moving in form. Your desires are not requests to an external power. They are movements of the field expressing itself through you. This is why alignment feels effortless when you touch it. When you release struggle and step into coherence, things unfold with grace. Not because some distant force finally decided to give you what you want, but because the universe has no resistance to itself. The field cannot say no to what is already its own frequency, and you, when you stand in your truth, are that frequency embodied. Consider the moments in your life when things seem to flow with perfect timing. The right people appeared, opportunities opened, synchronicities lined up so precisely that it felt like magic. That was not coincidence. That was the field responding to itself through you. You aligned with your essence, and the universe mirrored it instantly, without hesitation. You may wonder then, why there are times when things do not flow, when doors remain closed, when effort feels heavy. The answer is simple. In those moments, you were identifying with something smaller than your truth. You were believing you were the noise, the static, the outsider begging to be heard. But the moment you remembered, the moment you reclaimed that you are the field, everything shifted. Resistance faded, and flow returned. Take a breath now and feel it. Feel how the energy of the field is not somewhere out there, but right here, coursing through you, surrounding you, responding to you. Every inhale reminds you that you are inseparable from this vastness. Every exhale reminds you that nothing you are seeking is denied to you. The universe cannot resist itself, and you are not separate from it. This is the truth you came here to embody, that you are not a fragment lost in the static of existence. You are the field that creates, the resonance that shapes reality, the coherence that the universe answers without hesitation. And when you stand in this knowing, your entire experience transforms. You no longer chase, you no longer grasp, you no longer wait for life to finally give you permission. You allow, and in that allowing, everything aligns. Say this with me. I am the field. And when you know this, you no longer chase, you allow. There are burdens you have carried that were never meant to be yours. Stories handed down from generations, fears absorbed from voices around you, expectations pressed into your skin until you began to mistake them for your own. These weights have clung to you like stones in your pockets, slowing your steps, dimming your light, and convincing you that heaviness was the natural state of living. But today you are being called to release them. The truth is, much of what you have believed about yourself was never born within you. It was given to you by a world that had forgotten its own wholeness. The doubts that whispered you were not enough, the fears that told you to shrink, the judgments that made you second-guess your worth, none of these began as yours. They are borrowed illusions, echoes of others' pain, and just as easily as they were placed upon you, they can be released. Imagine yourself holding a bag filled with stones. Each stone carries a label: fear of failure, fear of rejection, the need to please, the belief that you are small. You have carried this bag for so long that your shoulders have grown accustomed to the weight. But as you look closer, you realize that the bag is not even yours. It was handed to you long ago and you simply forgot to put it down. Now, with each breath, imagine removing one stone at a time. Feel the relief as you set it down on the ground. Fear of failure, released. Fear of rejection, released. The need to please, released. Every stone placed gently upon the earth, dissolving back into nothingness. And with each release, your body feels lighter, your breath flows easier, your energy expands. This is not imagination. This is alignment reclaiming its space within you. Science speaks of energy conservation, how systems hold on to patterns until an outside force intervenes. For you, that outside force is awareness. Awareness interrupts the cycle. Awareness gives you the choice to no longer carry what was never yours, and when you choose to release, your energy reorganizes, your frequency sharpens, and life reflects back the lightness of your being. You may have thought that holding these weights made you responsible, loyal, or safe, but heaviness is not responsibility. True responsibility is to your essence, and your essence was never meant to live in chains. Every time you release what was never yours, you do not betray anyone. You liberate yourself, and in doing so you liberate the generations before you who could not set their stones down. Breathe deeply into this moment. Feel how your body has always longed for this freedom. Notice the spaces opening within you as the old burdens fall away. Your chest expands, your shoulders soften, your mind clears. And in this newfound spaciousness, your true frequency emerges, radiant and unburdened. The weight was never you. The weight was only borrowed. You are not here to carry the pain of the past. You are here to embody the signal of your truth. You are here to walk lightly, to create from clarity, to stand as a reminder that freedom is not something given, it is something remembered. And today you remember. Take one more breath and ask yourself, what stone am I still carrying that no longer belongs with me? Listen gently. Whatever comes is ready to be released. Set it down. Watch it fade. Feel the ground absorb it, leaving you clear, open, and whole. And as you let go, your true frequency shines brighter. Exhale deeply. What are you releasing now? There is a depth of wisdom that only silence can hold. It is not the silence of emptiness, not the silence of absence, but the silence that speaks back when you finally stop running from yourself. This silence has always been waiting for you. Beneath the noise of your thoughts, beneath the constant hum of distraction, there is a stillness that whispers truths the world cannot give you. You may have noticed glimpses of it in your life. A pause between breaths when time seemed to slow. A quiet morning when the world felt softer, gentler. A moment of awe under the night sky when words became unnecessary. In those moments, you were not imagining peace. You were entering the field of silence, and in that field, your soul was reminding you of its eternal rhythm. Silence is not empty. Silence is presence. Within it, every answer you have been chasing begins to emerge. The mind tries to complicate, to analyze, to solve. But silence does not analyze. Silence reveals. It reveals what has always been true, that you are not lost, that you are not broken, that you are not separate. You are whole, and in the stillness, that wholeness becomes undeniable. Science tells us that in stillness, systems return to equilibrium, noise fades, vibrations settle, and coherence emerges naturally. The same is true for you. When you allow yourself to rest in silence, the turbulence of thought begins to dissolve. What remains is clarity. What remains is resonance. You do not need to force it. You only need to listen. At first, silence can feel uncomfortable. The absence of noise can make old fears echo louder. The stillness can bring up emotions you tried to bury, but this too is part of its gift. Silence is not avoiding the truth. Silence is meeting the truth with open hands. It is letting the shadows rise so they can finally leave. Close your eyes and imagine yourself sitting within a vast field. The air is still, the space endless. No voices, no demands, no rush, just silence. As you breathe, notice how alive it feels. You can almost hear the heartbeat of existence, pulsing gently, steadily, like waves against the shore. This is not empty space. This is communion with the infinite. The silence speaks back through intuition, through knowing, through the calm certainty that arises when you no longer grasp for answers. It does not shout, it does not rush, it simply fills you with the recognition that you already are the answer you were searching for. When you honor silence, you do not step away from life. You step deeper into it. The noise fades, but the truth grows louder. The stillness becomes a mirror, showing you not what the world has told you to be, but what you truly are. And what you are is vast, timeless, unshakable. And in this silence you remember what you have always been. Close your eyes for a moment. Can you hear the silence? There is a truth that dissolves every illusion of waiting. You do not attract what you want, you align with what you are. The life you long for, the peace you crave, the love you hope to find. They do not appear by chance, and they are not withheld until you prove yourself worthy. They emerge the moment you become the frequency of what you seek. Think of sound. A string vibrates, and nearby strings tuned to the same pitch begin to hum in resonance. It is not effort, and it is not force. It is alignment. The moment frequencies match, they sing together. Your life works the same way. When you embody the vibration of abundance, love, clarity, or freedom, reality cannot help but harmonize with you. It is the law of resonance, and you are the instrument. You may have been taught to chase what you desire, to search for it outside yourself as if it were missing. But chasing keeps you in the vibration of lack. It tells the universe, I do not have this, and I must find it, and the universe listens. It mirrors back the vibration you hold, not the words you speak. That is why longing without embodiment leads only to more longing. Becoming the frequency of what you seek does not mean pretending. It does not mean forcing yourself to smile when you feel empty. It means cultivating the state within you first, until it becomes natural, until it becomes your identity. If you seek peace, you breathe peace into your own being. If you seek love, you embody love in the way you speak to yourself. If you seek abundance, you live in the vibration of already being supported, even before the evidence arrives. Science affirms this through the principle of coherence. A coherent system influences incoherent ones until alignment spreads. Your body knows this truth. When your heart beats in coherence, your entire system organizes around it. When your energy is coherent, reality organizes around it as well. You are not waiting for proof. You are broadcasting the signal that calls proof into form. Consider the times in your life when you felt deeply grateful. Do you remember how life seemed to respond with more to be grateful for? That was not coincidence. That was frequency. Gratitude became your state, and the field mirrored it back. The same is true for every frequency. Fear generates more fear, but trust generates more trust. Love generates more love. You have always been shaping reality, whether you realized it or not. So ask yourself now, what frequency are you choosing? Not what you hope for, not what you dream about, but what you are embodying in this very moment. If you wish for clarity, but embody confusion, the universe reflects confusion. If you wish for love, but embody doubt, the universe reflects doubt. But the moment you shift, the moment you begin to embody what you seek, the reflection changes. Reality has no choice but to mirror coherence. This is the invitation before you now to stop waiting for life to hand you what you desire and to start becoming it. If you want freedom, breathe as if you are already free. If you want abundance, walk as if you are already supported. If you want love, speak as if you already are love in form. The field does not resist this. It answers instantly. Take a breath and imagine yourself stepping into the version of you that already holds what you desire. See how they move, how they speak, how they carry themselves. Now notice that this version is not separate from you. It is you waiting for you to remember. The only difference is frequency, and you are capable of shifting into it right now. Do not wait. Do not postpone your alignment until life looks the way you want. Become the frequency now, and life will mirror it without delay. This is not hope. This is not wishful thinking. This is the law of resonance, and it is as real as gravity. And as you embody, you arrive. Declare this now. I am already what I seek. When you begin to embody the frequency of what you seek, something remarkable happens. Life no longer feels like a battle to be fought. It begins to feel like a path unfolding beneath your feet, step by step, in perfect rhythm with who you are becoming. You are no longer wandering aimlessly, hoping to find your way. You are walking the path of self, a path that has always been waiting for you. This path is not carved by force, nor is it paved by striving. It is shaped by alignment. The more you embody your truth, the clearer it becomes. Every choice that once felt heavy begins to feel lighter. Every action that once felt uncertain begins to feel guided. You realize that life is not happening to you. Life is moving with you as you. Think of a river flowing. When you resisted, you were like someone trying to swim upstream, fighting against the current, exhausting yourself with every stroke. But when you aligned, you remembered that the current was never your enemy. It was carrying you all along. Walking the new path of self feels like surrendering to that current, not in defeat, but in trust. You realize that the river knows where it is going, and it carries you exactly where you are meant to be. This does not mean there are no challenges. It means that challenges no longer define you. They no longer derail you. They are simply part of the landscape, stones along the riverbed that guide the water into shape. On the new path of self, you no longer see obstacles as proof of failure. You see them as teachers, each refining you, each reminding you of your strength. What changes most is the way you move. The old self walked with hesitation, second-guessing, waiting for permission to be worthy. The new self walks with quiet certainty, not arrogance, but coherence, not force, but presence. You walk with the awareness that every step is guided, every breath is connected, every moment is meaningful. Science calls this entrainment. When one system comes into rhythm with another, your energy entrains the steps of your life. When you walk as your true self, reality entrains with you. Opportunities align. People arrive, synchronicities multiply. You are not chasing them. You are walking in resonance, and resonance draws everything into harmony with it. Feel into this now. Imagine yourself walking forward, each step lighter than the last. You are no longer weighed down by the past. You are no longer searching for proof. You are simply walking, and the ground rises to meet you. Every step affirms, I am aligned. Every breath affirms, I am supported. Every heartbeat affirms, I am walking the path of my true self. This is the freedom that was waiting for you. Not freedom from responsibility, but freedom from distortion. Freedom from carrying what was never yours. Freedom from the illusion that you had to earn your place. The new path of self shows you that you already belong. The only requirement was remembering. And so the journey ahead is no longer struggle. It is flow. Remember this when you take your next step. I am walking as my true self. Everything you have heard, everything you have felt has been leading you here. This moment is not separate from the journey that brought you. Every restless night, every unanswered question, every choice that seemed uncertain, all of them were stepping stones on the path that guided you to this place. And as you sit with these words, you realize the truth. You were always destined to arrive here. It may have felt at times as if you were lost, as if the path ahead was unclear, as if the universe had turned silent. But even in those moments, you were being carried. The silence was not absence. It was preparation. The stillness was not abandonment. It was alignment. You could not see the design while you were inside it. But now, looking back, you can feel how perfectly it unfolded. Destiny is not a single event waiting far in the future. Destiny is the rhythm that has been playing beneath your entire life, guiding you, nudging you, calling you forward. Every encounter, every delay, every synchronicity was part of the orchestration. You were never off the path, even when you doubted yourself. The detours were not mistakes. They were redirections, shaping you into the person who could finally receive this truth. And the truth is simple, yet infinite. You are ready. You have passed the final test, not because you conquered something outside of yourself, but because you remembered what has always been within you. The fears arose, and you chose resonance. The doubts surfaced, and you chose coherence. The static tried to pull you back, but you remembered that you are the signal. This remembering is the victory. This remembering is the arrival. Feel this now. The weight you carried has dissolved. The uncertainty that haunted you has softened. You stand lighter, clearer, freer than before. And with this freedom comes a realization. You do not need to chase what is already yours. You do not need to prove what has always been true. You do not need to grasp for what is already within. You were never separate from the field. You were never waiting for permission. You were never behind. The universe has always been listening, always responding, always reflecting you back to yourself. And now, because you have chosen alignment, the field responds in full clarity. Life itself bends toward you, not because you demanded it, but because you became it. Take a moment and breathe into this recognition. With every inhale, allow yourself to feel the vastness of who you are. With every exhale, allow yourself to release the last remnants of doubt. You are here. You are whole. You are aligned, and nothing can take this knowing from you. Imagine your life from this point forward. The choices you make no longer born from fear, but from truth. The actions you take, no longer weighed down by hesitation, but guided by coherence. The way you walk, the way you speak, the way you breathe, all of it carrying the frequency of your arrival. This is not the beginning of who you are. This is the unveiling. This is the moment when you finally recognize yourself. Look at how far you have come. The restlessness that once felt unbearable has become the signal of your awakening. The confusion that once felt heavy has become preparation for clarity. The fears that once controlled you have become the doorway to resonance. You have not failed. You have not been left behind. You have been becoming, and now you are here. And this is what destiny has always been. Not a future to chase, but a truth to embody. You were not meant to wait for the right moment. You were meant to realize that the right moment is always now. You were not meant to earn your worth. You were meant to remember that your worth was never in question. You were not meant to wander endlessly. You were meant to arrive. And you have. So let this truth settle into you. Let it become the ground you stand on, the air you breathe, the rhythm of your life. Carry it with you into every choice, every interaction, every silence. Let it shape the way you see yourself and the way you walk through the world, because the universe has always known who you are. Now you know too. And whenever you forget, this message will wait for you. Listen to this again whenever you forget who you are, because you are always meant to arrive here.